Hello everyone, today is the day I'm going to be comparing and contrasting the various features, gameplays, and recent updates for both Pokemon TCG Live and Pokemon Pocket to find out which is truly the better game. Let's get at it. So today I will be ranking the two games based on these 5 categories. We got collections, gameplay, pack opening or crafting, we got the shop, and then cosmetics and other app features. So first, let's start off with Pokemon TCG Live in the collection category. The collection of cards is really kind of clunky and awkward because there's no really direct way to look at your entire collection. You have to go into the Decks tab and then actually click on Edit a Deck to be able to see what cards you actually have. From here, it doesn't get too bad as you can filter by almost anything like cards you own and cards you don't own, by format, type, stage, attribute, set, etc. Tons of stuff. The only thing you really can't filter by that I've seen is by retreat cost. I make a lot of decks, so that kind of it does make a difference. Sometimes I want, free retreat Pokemon, and I've tried to search for those, and it just hasn't really given me an option to do that, so I've had to figure out other ways to find free retreat Pokemon, which can get time consuming. So that's personally, it would definitely be good if it had that extra feature, but the old game Pokemon TCG Online did have that option. But in any case, overall I would rate this a solid 6 out of 10 because albeit there are dozens of filtering options, it's just such an awkward way to even get to your card collection is by having to go through the deck option and then editing even a specific deck. Now for Pokemon Pocket, it is much easier to get to your collection. The card icon is second from the left and is literally titled My Cards when you get into this section. There's an option, which is a cool option, to make binders and displays and show them off to other players. And there's even 2 different sorting options before you even get to the filters. You can sort by your preset filter or by set. So when searching by set, you can see exactly what cards you do and do not have, although I do wish there was an expansion option which was like foldable, so you could click on the, maybe the button of the expansion itself and then it shows you all of the cards, but it's just in a list, so you kind of have to scroll all the way through, so that could get annoying when you have to scroll through multiple sets, like especially if you want to find a mid set, because you can either sort when you get into that option by oldest to newest or newest to oldest. So if you are looking at one of the mid sets, then it's kind of gonna get a while to scroll down and it's gonna be kind of annoying. So if you had that foldable option, maybe it'd be a lot better. You can just click on the set you want to see what cards you do and do not have. And honestly, something that also bugs me is the set does not have a numbered list when you are looking by cards you do and do not have under any of the double rare or rarer cards. So double rares, crown rares, like it only gives you the cards before that rarity that you don't have. So you have no idea until you actually pull something you don't have how many cards you're actually missing. So unfortunately, I think that's kind of fairly annoying because otherwise you just have to kind of like Google and like make your own list to see cards you're missing, but I digress. Although all of those things can be said, I still rate this an 8 out of 10 because, there just aren't as many, bad things about this maybe as the Pokemon TCG Live. There are less filtering options, but that's just because there aren't as many card options to sort already because it's so much newer, but I still rate this an 8 out of 10. For the gameplay, Pokemon TCG Live follows the actual TCG rules that you would see when playing someone else IRL, or in one of your local or regional standard, or when they had them expanded tournaments. Although Live has still not delivered on their promise to have all the cards from Black and White forward in the card pool in their expanded format, it is still the TCG that you recognize, and it still does have everything from Sun and Moon forward, so we are just missing that Black and White era. Now, the big problem still with Pokemon TCG Live is the incredible amount of bugs that are in both the game standard and expanded. Almost every set, we do have some sort of game-breaking bug that needs fixing before you'll be able to play a full real game. Usually they try and fix this pretty fast, but there's still quite a few, and because of this, although I do really like the Pokemon TCG game, I do have to rate it a 7 out of 10 because of all of the bugs that don't really last super long in my opinion, but they're still there. But I gotta love the TCG, so 7 out of 10 it is. Now for Pokemon Pocket, I will give it some grace because the game is only on its first few sets, meaning there's not as big of a card pool as TCG Live, but the gameplay is still completely different. Because rather than a 60 card deck where you knock out your opponent's Pokemon, you take 6 prizes, and there's actual cards set aside, there's only a 20 card pool in a deck, that you have to build with only knocking out 3 worth of Pokemon, which is essentially an EX and a non-EX. Now, there's no prize cards, which means there's nothing like not in your deck, but I feel like Pocket is just incredibly stale. There's no way to search out specific Pokemon. You can only search out like random Pokemon at a time, like with Pokemon Communication or Pokeball, stuff like that, but it's just random. You do also almost always have to rely on the top deck when needing to evolve your Pokemon into stage 1 or 2s, and 2 prize EX Pokemon are really kind of the king of this game already, even this early on after its release. So because of those reasons, I have to put Pokemon Pocket's gameplay at like a 4. However, Pokemon Pocket does have something huge going for it, and that's their packs. You get 2 to 3 a day, you spin the wheel of packs, and you swipe to rip it open. Cards are shown 1 at a time. One thing that is, I know, an unpopular opinion, is that on certain rarities there will be a sneak peek like sound and flash. You'll swipe and you'll ching, and you'll like get that flash. And I don't like this because it gives the surprise away of like opening a pack and seeing if there's something in there. Yes, you're kind of more amped for it because you got something big, but on the other hand, if you open any other pack and that doesn't happen, it's a bust. One big plus though is the ability to get a God pack. I have personally never done it, but I've seen people do it, and getting a God pack is where there's a hit. Every single card is a hit, and that's insane. Oh, I would love to get one of those days. Crafting though is a complete mess. Like, for sure, complete mess. You get 5 pack points every time you open one, but only of that specific set. So if it's like Genetic Apex or Mythical Island, it's just you open a pack, you open 2, 3, 4, you'll get 20, total pack credits, and like that's nothing compared to how much you need to get an EX card or something, which is like 1,500. So you'll have to spend months and months of opening packs in just a specific set to trade just for like one full art, and by then more and more sets have been released, so you're farther and farther behind. Now it wouldn't be so bad, I guess, if like all of the pack credits were in a single pool, and no matter what pack you opened, they'd all get put in the same pool and you can spend those on whatever. 5 is just really low though, especially if you want to be one of those Pokemon trainers that catch them all, but unfortunately there's just no way you'll ever be able to catch them all in Pokemon Pocket, which is really sad. Like, that's the whole point of Pokemon, the whole catchphrase. So although I do really like the Pokemon pack opening animation in Pocket, and that's probably a 9 in and of itself, for all these other reasons, I have to go with a 7 out of 10. The pack opening in Pokemon TCG Live is more lackluster. It's hard to put into words. When you open up a pack from Pocket, it just feels better. You swipe it, and you can see the pack ripping. In Pokemon Live, though, you just click on it, and then the pack disappears. So you don't get that same the pack. The cards are still revealed one at a time, just like in Pocket. And there's no giveaway to the fact if you've gotten a hit or not, so there's always that last card hope in every pack. There's no chance of getting a God pack in live, which does suck, but you can so easily craft whatever card you want, even though you're not able to pull it from a pack, because it is so cheap in regards to trainer points in order to like craft things. So in that regard, it's not really a bad thing that you can't really get a God pack. Yes, it would be so amazing, but it's not a be-all end-all, and you can still craft whatever card you want. Even with this newest update where you can't craft higher rarity cards within the first 6 months, if you don't pull it, you know you'll be able to get to it eventually and at much less of a cost than Pocket. So I have to rate this category for Pokemon TCG Live a 7 out of 10. Pokemon TCG Live has a fair amount in the shop. You have bundles worth anywhere from 750 trainer points to 3,500. You also can go back to older sets and purchase pack bundles ranging from 200 to 1,200 trainer points, and you can even redeem your IRL Pokemon TCG codes that you open from IRL packs. So it's a pretty special thing that you can connect the real life game, the real life cards you get, to the TCG Live. So I do like the fact that your points go directly toward more packs and more trade tokens, so I rate this a 7 out of 10. So Pokemon Pocket also has a main shop with a couple of different tabs for other options within the shop, and I'll get to those. The main shop though gives you a free daily gift, and you can use those shop tickets to buy Pack and Wonder Hourglasses to ease the time cooldowns from packs and Wonder picks. You also can buy a special shop ticket, accessories, or beginner cards to help you build your decks. There's also a premium member shop tab and a Pokegold shop for more like real money transactions. So I prefer that there to be a way to buy like cards or packs directly instead of just like cooldowns. And I also dislike like paying a membership feature, like in the IRL transactions, the real money transactions. It just feels kind of like icky to me, and it's just like really basic of a shop. So unfortunately, I'm gonna rate this a 4 out of 10. So in category 5, we are looking at the cosmetic and other app features. So the look and feel of Pokemon Pocket's app homepage is just so clean. Like, it has a nice background, nothing too flashy or in your face. You got that subtle small movements just barely across the board, which is really cool. And, the tabs are very nicely organized. You can quickly and easily find what you want. Now, you can trade for cards that you are missing as long as they are under a specific rarity, I think under double rares. So during the gameplay, cards are nice and smooth, the battle animations are good, and they did include in their newest update a ranked leaderboard. So you'll definitely enjoy the grind if you like that, to being one of the best trainers you can be. So that's definitely an overall enjoyable way to spend your time in the Pokemon hobby. So I'll rate this an 8 out of 10. For Pokemon TCG Live, the homepage doesn't feel quite as good as Pokemon Pocket. It just doesn't look as cohesive. The words on the top, although they are like nicely organized, it's just not as good as like the icons, and it just looks very basic. You also have to like dig into more of the tabs if you want to like get to the places that you're going to. Now, player avatars are also completely unnecessary, and from what I've gathered in the community, really unwanted. And there's no trading in this game. But there is a easy and cheap way to craft cards, so that kind of makes up for that. There's also no ranked ladder, so if you were looking into that or wanted that, it's not a part of Pokemon Live. However, there's like barely an ELO system, if you can call it that. And the actual gameplay animations while you're in a match just leave a lot to be desired cosmetically. Now, they did offer, and this is a little bump up, because normally maybe I would have given this like a 2 or a 3, but I will bump it up to a 4 out of 10 because of this specific reason. In the newest update, they did offer trainer trials. So besides Pokemon standard and expanded formats, they also have trainer trials, which can give you those other formats that you desire in the Pokemon TCG, like Singleton, Gym Leader Challenge, or just other cool and interesting ways to build decks and to play the game. And honestly, that's just a real cool thing that they did. Just the more different ways that you can play Pokemon, the better. So overall, a 4 out of 10. Now let's add up the totals and see what we got. For Pokemon TCG Live, we have a ranking of 31 out of 50. And for Pokemon Pocket, we have also 31 out of 50. So now I know we came out a little bit on a tie, but I will say this, depending on the type of Pokemon fan that you are, so we can break the tie in a way. If you like collecting, I would definitely go with Pokemon TCG Pocket. It's a lot more clean, you can more easily see your collection, it's all there. I really like the cards and the gold, the immersive art rares, and it's just a really cool way to see your collection. But if you are someone who likes the TCG and playing the TCG, practicing, whether it's IRL or on the app, and you really like those different types of gameplays, and if you're more of a player, definitely TCG Live is the way to go. So I hope you liked this video and it gives you some insight on what you might like best in a Pokemon game, and if you liked it, please show me some love and support by liking this video, commenting your favorite feature of either app, and subscribing. You'd be the very best, like no one ever was if you did.